Welcome back everybody to another MOTOBOB video from MCL25, and it took us a little while to find this one because it's subtly branded, but we're at Honda for a look at their best new bikes for 2026. So we'll kick off with, not a completely new model, but actually a really substantial update for Honda this year with their e-clutch. Now previously it was only available on their 650s, and what it means is that the clutch is effectively replaced by an electronic actuator, so you can ride it as a twist and go, so really convenient in traffic, and also it does the kind of quick shifter duties as well. You do keep the traditional manual clutch lever so you can override it and slip it in slow moving traffic for some extra control, but ultimately it gives you this very convenient and easy riding experience. Now, good news if you didn't fancy an inline 4, or if you're looking for a bike at a slightly more affordable price point, because not only have they fitted it now to their 750s, so the Transalp and the 750 Hornet, but also the entire 500 lineup. So the NX 500 adventure bike over there, the CB500 Hornet Naked, and also the CBR 500R sports bike. So yeah, definitely lots of choice now in the e-clutch lineup, and they also took the chance to, fit some of the bikes with some new paint jobs. They've done a really good job on the Hornet. We'll include some shots of it now over the top, giving it a much more punchy and lively paint job with a bit of a belly pan as well. And also the Transalp gets new paint along with this SP edition. I think they sold this in Spain and Portugal last year, but for 2026 it will also be available in the UK. It's about 10.5 grand, and you get this brilliant tricolor paint job on it, or graphics kit, along with the upper engine bars, lower engine bars, and a beefed up sump guard. So not only one to look at if you fancy something a little more rally-esque in the image, but also if you want that extra protection for, some slightly more challenging off-road riding. This next bike though could be one of the best sellers for 2026. It's the new CB1000 GT Sports Tourer, which is built upon their existing and very successful CB1000 Hornet platform. You can see behind me, we can't even get close to it. Lots of people wanting to sit on this bike. And when you see the price and the performance figures, well, it's quite easy to understand why. You're getting nearly 150 horses from the 2017 Fireblade derived inline 4, and then a tall, comfortable chassis with a CFD or computational fluid dynamics design fairing to give you a nice smooth wind flow, and also a Showa semi-active electronically adjustable suspension system. So should be fun, should be fast, should be versatile as well for those touring duties, and all for the very attractive price of £11,999. Like a lot of their new bikes recently, it undercuts a lot of the competition, and it usually means they go on to sell really very well. Now just quickly, if you're thinking of buying a new Honda motorcycle this year, then you definitely want to make sure it's secure. And for me, one of the most important layers of security is an angle grinder resistant lock. So a massive thanks to Lightlock for supporting the channel and sponsoring this video. And look, if you haven't seen it already, we recently made a video at their factory in South Wales where they let us cut a regular non-armored lock, and basically it took 10 seconds. But then there's special material called Baronium, which coats their X1, their X1 Plus, and their X3. Well, it basically turns the angle grinder on itself and wrecks the disc. If you're not convinced, have a watch of that video. I think the results speak for themselves, but if you are convinced, there's also a discount code down in the description, so do check that out. And once again, a huge thanks to Lightlock for their support. Now, this isn't strictly a new bike you can buy for 2026, but I had to cover it anyway. It's their new V3R900 concept. A really unusual layout, really interested to see how it rides, and that's also compounded by the fact that it uses an e-compressor as well for forced induction. So yeah, the benefits of those two things are that it makes it very slim in the waist, that V3 engine layout, but also the compressor, they say, means it can make 1200 levels of performance from a 900, and also lots of bottom end torque while still being able to produce a decent top end power figure. On top of that, I've got to say, this is the first full bike that we've seen it in, this concept here, and it really does look exciting. I like that they've gone bold with the styling, something that Honda is sometimes criticized for, and it's got some interesting design features. The single-sided swing arm looks great, and also this big asymmetric side pod here, which I think is the intake for the e-compressor. Very cool. Can't wait to see how this one comes out when it is in its full production form. Like I say, Honda clearly doing something right with their pricing, because we've come over to look at the CB1000 Retro, another new bike on their 1000 platform, and again we can't get anywhere close to it. This one comes in at £10,599 for 2026. It undercuts all of the competition like the Yamaha XSR 900, the Kawasaki Z900 RS. It undercuts those by 500 quid or £1,000. And also if you look at some of the European bikes like the BMW R1290 or the Triumph Speed Twin 1200, it's like £2,000 or £3,000 cheaper than some of those as well. So if you want a really good looking retro bike that goes quick too, then this one definitely has to be on your shortlist for 2026. The thing that they've done as well is chilled it out a little bit versus the CB1000 Hornet, so it's more of a torquey tune than a top-end power kind of tune. And the same could kind of be said as well of the riding position. It's the same seat height, but they've canted the rider back a little bit to have them more sat up, and also given it a longer subframe for that retro look, but also a bit more space if you do want to carry a passenger. Next up though, we've got their new WN7 electric motorcycle, and they say this is their first stab at a kind of fun electric vehicle as opposed to something that's built for kind of urban mobility. So you'll see that reflected mainly in the chassis spec with the 17-inch wheels front and rear. You've got the upside down fork, you've got Nissin radially mounted brakes, and so it all feels quite familiar if you've ever seen a sort of middleweight naked sporty kind of bike. Now, we'll say it's not super powerful though. It makes 67 horses peak, decent torque at 100 Newton meters, but it's not gonna tear your face off, let's say. But they do say a 20 to 80% charge is possible in about half an hour with a proper rapid fast charger. And so I guess that might be enough to get some people to consider it as quite a practical little runaround that can still offer a bit of fun. Price is £12,999, and so I'm quite glad to see the back of those days where, you know, the new electric motorcycles coming on the market were 20 grand and above. Now, some of the bikes in the Honda lineup haven't necessarily been updated massively from a technical perspective, but they have had new paint for 2026, including this brilliant orange colour on the CB650R Naked. Set against those bronzy goldy wheels, I think it looks really very good. And we've also got new paint for the Rebels, the NC750X, the NT1100, and also the CBR650R sports bike equivalent of this one. But I've got to say, of the whole bunch, this is undoubtedly my absolute favourite. It's the same colour as Tim's Street Triple used to be. And so what do you reckon? Prefers it on the Street Triple, fair enough mate, but I think this is definitely going to stand out in your local Honda dealer. Gosh, this is exceptionally comfortable. I've never tried a Goldwing with the little rider backrest, but that's amazing. You could definitely nod off on the motorway on this bike. But yeah, this has been updated a little bit for 2026. We've got upgraded speakers apparently. We've got Euro 5 Plus compliance with the exhaust system. But mainly, you know, the big thing is the new paint jobs. This one, the Tour edition with the full luggage at the back, looks fantastic in this red. And then the standard Goldwing without the top box, that comes in a bit of a silver with some graphics on the side cases. Looks very nice as well. I thought we'd round off though with this beautiful GB350S Custom, which is part of a competition they ran at Wheels and Waves, which is a custom bike show in the south of France this year. They normally commission a bunch of customs basically on a given Honda platform. This year it was the GB350S, but it's got to be said, this little flat tracker is one of the most successful builds I think from this year. And it really does look very nice indeed. You can't buy this unfortunately, but maybe a bit of inspiration if you want to customize your own. Anyway, let me know down in the comments which your favorite bike was from the stand this year. We'll also put our MCL playlist on the screen now so you can catch up with all of our content. Do hit subscribe if you want to see more of the latest motorcycle news and reviews right here on MOTOBOB. A massive thanks for watching this one, and we'll see you in the next video.